Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and these are my cards for this week's Color Throwdown Challenge. So I just did a unboxing video recently of the My Favorite Things November card kit, which is still available. So these stamps and dies that I'm using are only available in the kit until the January release. So when this kit sells out, this will be unavailable until January. So I really wanted to use the stamps and dies though, and I wanted to participate in the color challenge. So I'm using the colors for the color challenge and not the colors that come in the kit, because it comes with, inks and cardstock and all that. And I'll have a link to that video at the end of this one. So to start off with, I did some die cutting first. I actually cut apart this die set. It was kind of hard for me. And you guys know I love keeping my MFT die sets connected, but these flower ones specifically, or these vase and flower ones, I actually love that the die is meant to cut out the completed stamped image, which is composed of 3 different stamps. So I found it easier to die cut first and then stamp. And my piece of cardstock here, this is some smooth white cardstock, I did all the die cutting first, and then I did 2 sets, and technically you could do 10, 20, as many as you wanted. And using the mini MISTI like this, you could stamp as many as you want. It makes it so easy because I'm using the negative space to hold the die cut in place, and then I can just keep stamping over and over again. Remove the one die cut, stick in a new one, stamp it, and so on. So this made it so much easier. Plus, because these were brand new stamps, I didn't bother conditioning them, like rubbing. You can rub your hands on them, you can rub them with a eraser, just brand new stamps. Sometimes basically almost repel ink a little bit. So you can either condition them or you can use them multiple times, which is what I did here. I stamped them multiple times to get a perfect image. MFT's dye inks is what I'm using here. These do smooth out as they dry, but even then, with brand new stamps, they can be a little bit finicky. So using my MISTI to stamp them over and over again, I was able to get a perfect stamped image and a multicolored image like I'm showing here. So I'd stamped the vases with their gravel gray dye ink, and then the little branches I stamped with the sour apple ink, and then the little flowers for this one I used daffodil ink. So got everything stamped for my first vase, which I did twice, and then I did this exact same process. So I've super sped this up here, and technically it should have been perfect, but one, I was rushing. I was heating up supper, doing 10 things at once, dealing with the kids, all that sort of stuff. So I wasn't paying as close of attention as I should, and a couple of times I shifted the main negative space of these die cuts, so my stamping wasn't perfect, but I just went with it. I didn't have time to redo it, re-die cut, re-stamp. I was like, whatever. I'm just going with it. Basically, it's one of those cases where do as I say and not as I do, which sadly as a mom, I say that a lot to my kids too. So anyway, I stamped did the flowers and the vases, and then I had this little picture, and this one I stamped with that same gravel gray ink. And I'm going to have to do this more often. This is something I've known how to do for a long time. I just don't do it very often. But using the negative space in this way with my MISTI made my life so much easier. And I think I said that. I'm using the mini MISTI here, not the original sized one. So just the smaller one. Whichever one works though. I could have used the larger one and not cut apart the dies. I could have. I don't use the larger one as much, so I don't have space. Like what you guys see on camera is about the only stamping space I actually have. The rest, I've got stuff piled up all over my desk. And yeah, anyway, back to the card. So I did all my stamping, and then I pulled out my Big Shot again, and I had just the magnetic platform, and then I'm using these embossing folders. These are the next level embossing folders from We Are Memory Keepers. I'd shown a video using these I think it was last year, using different folders, but from the same company, and I love these. So I just used the magnetic plate, the embossing folder, with the cardstock in it, and then one cutting plate, and that is the perfect sandwich stack for running these through. I get the perfect embossing. So these were the woven pack, so it came with the 2 folders, and to me they look like backsplash. That's what I think of every time I look at them. I think of tile backsplash in a kitchen. So of course I had to pull them out to use with these stamps because it just works. So I did that with 2 pieces of white cardstock, and then I die cut 2 pieces of some snow cone cardstock with one of the dies from the My Favorite Things Fishtail Flags stacks Die-namics. And I'm stamping sentiments from the set that comes in the kit. This is the You Bake Me Happy stamp set. So I stamped 2 different sentiments with the same gravel gray ink onto those die cuts. I'm basically creating 2 of the same card, but just tiny bit different. One's going to have a different embossing folder, and I decided since it will be slightly different, I'll use a different sentiment, just, you know, to get a little more variation out of it. So I stamped those sentiments, and then I'm adhering them to these embossed pieces with some foam tape, and then just folding over that extra edge there and adhering it behind the cardstock. So once I'd done that, I had already kind of started laying out how I wanted to do this little scene here or whatever, and decided to adhere the largest vase there with just flat to the embossing with some ATG adhesive, and then everything else I decided to pop up with foam tape. So I popped out the picture with some foam tape and popped up that second vase with foam tape, and then I had all these little lemons that I had stamped, so I adhered those with little bits of foam tape as well. The lemons for this card that just says made especially for you are more just decorative. I just liked the pops of yellow. The yellow made me happy. I really love this color combo for this week. So I popped those into place with some foam tape. And for the second card, the sentiment went more with the lemons. That's why I chose it. And then as a final little bit of embellishment, I pulled out my Doodlebug enamel dots here. They're little sprinkles. I have some limeade and bumblebee sprinkles. So I'm just sprinkling them on my card front. Haha, I'm so funny. It's late. Sorry for my horrible humor. So sprinkle those on, did the exact same thing with the second card front. And then I grabbed some more heavyweight smooth white cardstock from MFT that I cut down to 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm scoring them both at 5.5 inches with my Teflon bone folder and my little score buddy here. So getting those scored, and then I am going to stamp the insides of these with that larger vase image again. I could have used my Misty for this if I'd wanted everything stamped perfectly. But like I said, I was racing the clock. I'm late as usual with getting my post up for the color challenge, everything. And I swear, when I'm running behind, all my kids start acting insane. Literally, if I left the sound turned on so you guys could hear the background noise, it's just insanity. So I was racing to get these done. So I just quickly stamped the vase and the little branches and the flowers, and then added those little lemons just to finish it off because they're cute. So stamped those and then left the insides just as that. I didn't stamp any sentiments or anything. I just thought the little vase and the flowers and the lemons just kind of finished off these cute little cards. So once I had those stamped, I'm going to apply more ATG adhesive to the backs of these embossed pieces. I try not to press too hard when I'm applying the ATG. You could also use a liquid adhesive or foam tape. Foam tape works wonderfully, but I didn't want to make them too thick and bulky. So I just applied the ATG and then centered these onto my card fronts, and that finished off these cards. I remembered afterwards that I had forgot to put enamel dots on the second card front, but I got to that. So got everything adhered, and that finished off the cards. So I will have links below the video to my blog post. There'll be a link to the color challenge if you'd like to play along, link to the kit, all that fun stuff, as well as links to the video that I mentioned about the unboxing, as well as to another card video I did recently. So check those out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, thumbs upping my videos. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.